Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a great and wonderful day. Now, we have a lot. This is going to be a heartfelt and very strong emotional thing for you guys to probably listen to, and you may even find it a bit cringe because of the fact that he's going through an emotional turmoil. But please understand that we have people here in the United States that cannot read, that cannot do math, and are failing under horrible Democratic leadership, and I'll be showing you some of these facts here. But this is a man that is went to prison and he could not read, and this is the failings of our schools and how what we have across our country to where there's just a massive issue. And this guy here reads and is following his story to show to thousands of people that he's learning how to read and what have you. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, bear this guy some respect here.
Prison as an adult, you couldn't read?
No, I couldn't read. I can't even, even like right now, like trying to share it and also like be present it's hard because it's embarrassing. My son, who's 10 years old, reads better than me. To sit at the dinner table and realize like, how's my son going to be able to move forward further than I have if I haven't given him those directions?
So I want to read this comment. If you've been following my journey, I'm teaching myself how to read. That's a heartbreaking book, honey. It's an adult book. The book they're talking about is Animal Farm. I picked this book up because people told me to check it out. And I'm not going to lie, this book is triggering. I'm in a place right now where I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to become a better person. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to do things that I didn't do in my past now so I can be a better father, just better in general. I will say this. Because I'm trying to do that, everything's become a lot harder in my life. I'm making changes and things just don't seem to be adding up. It seems like my life is going downhill when it should be going uphill. But from learning, reading books like this, you're not going crazy, you're just waking up. I'm seeing that this is a part of the process. You're changing, you're growing, you're becoming something that you never were.
You're going to start learning how to read. You will not get through this without any vulnerability, bro. Like you don't. Ah! I'm supposed to know this. I'm supposed to know this shit already. Ah! Stay up, baby. Don't give up. Ah! Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. You learning, yo. You learning how to read. You learning. That's what it is. Let's go. Let's go. And so Wilbur came home to visit beloved Manor Pile in the barn cellar. His was a strange homecoming. Around his neck he wore a medal of honor. In his mouth he held a sack of spider eggs. They're supposed to know this stuff, yo. I'm supposed to already know how to read. I'm supposed to get this. Let's go. I need it, baby. I need it all. Let's go. Let's go. You breathing. Let's read. Let's go. Let's go. His was strange homecoming. Around his neck, he had a sack spider egg. There is no place like home, Wilbur thought, as he placed Charlotte's 540 unborn children carefully in a safe corner. The barn smelled good. His favorite friends, the sheep and the geese, were glad to see him back. I gotta heal, y'all. Like, if I don't go through this, I'll never learn how to read. Like, I gotta fight my fears. I gotta fight my emotions. They don't own me. I own them. Geese were glad to see him back. The geese gave him a nose.
Now, as hard as that probably is to hear or whatever, and for people that are probably just listening, as I said before, he is learning to try to read by himself, only by himself, and he's filming it too for all to see. And it is kind of hard to watch in the sense of it makes it sound like a crazy person, but he's not. It's frustration of not knowing how to read. I remember being in his position before, to where even when I was in second grade and I didn't know how to read, but a lot of kids did. I had to be put into special classes or a special place to learn how to read correctly, and I would end up being the best reader in my class for many, many years. It just so happens to be that this is where our schooling is at. We don't teach kids how to do things correctly, and this man is suffering the consequences of our bad education system that I've been lamenting and hating for many, many, many years now because of how bad it really is. I salute this man for trying to improve himself, trying to change himself. This is the rehabilitation that should be sought out, should be shown all across media, of actual good happening, where a man gets out of prison and try to better himself, try to improve himself. This is not being shown in the media, to where we see a man struggling and trying to make himself learn how to read, and show that he is trying to improve himself, better himself. And this is not being shown in the media. This is not showing being in Fox News. This is not shown on anything. This man is trying to actively prove himself. Black man, mind you. And of course, we don't want to show black people or anybody having to up themselves and get themselves better into society. And that's the way it should be. We should upping people that are trying to make themselves better for themselves. And that is the disgusting part of all this. To where we have a society today that will not do this. That will not want to prosper. And this is a clip here of people discussing on the actual issues that's happening here in America, how the schooling and math is down, and I think everybody needs to take a little bit of a look at this.
Are speaking out about failing grades and test scores when it comes to basic education in America's public schools. Recently, the St. Louis School Board did come under fire, accused of providing black students with an educational environment that leads them on a path to incarceration. And joining us this morning is activist Chester Asher. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us here on the National Desk.
Good morning. Thank you.
So you spoke about a school board recently, and I pulled some of the test scores in St. Louis public schools, and I found this. Only 15% of elementary school students and 13% of middle school students were able to read at grade level, and it was worse when it came to mathematics. The stats were worse, where just 10% were proficient. First, I want to understand, what do you make of these test scores?
It means death for our kids in our community, both literal death and economic death. And so St. Louis has the highest murder rate in the nation. That is not unrelated to our educational system. And so when kids can't read, when kids don't have hope, career and college prospects, many of them, not most of them, but many of them turn to a life of crime, turn to violence, turn to gangs, turn to things that can make them money and give them the types of lifestyles that education cannot, because they're not being provided with one. Economic death, because they can't apply for a job. Some of them can't even read the applications. They can't compose convincing cover letters. And so it literally means death in our community.
And Chester, 78% of students in St. Louis public schools are black, and you've been working in the education field for more than 17 years. You're the founder of a charter school that focuses on helping the most vulnerable students.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy that this is happening in America, that we have kids, our own people, our own children, that are supposed to be the future of this country, not being able how to read. And it's disgusting that this is even allowing to happen. And this is something that everybody should probably look at as well, is that California students have dismayingly low math and reading test scores, states between 2019 and 2022. And it has become a bigger thing here. And I believe I even said that I was going over here why most kids in California can't read and do math. So go and check the California Insider on that. But this is not just pertaining to just California, though. This is also pertaining to Oregon, where Oregon governor signs bills suspending math reading requirements for high school grads. So let me put this in perspective. These teachers, these governors, these idiots are ruining our kids' futures. They're making sure that our kids cannot have a good life because if you cannot read, you can't function anywhere in society at all. It's just straight up, you just cannot function. If you can't do basic math, you can't do simple things like, you know, your bills and all these other important things that needs to happen, or you need to know in order to function in society. And these teachers, these governors, these democratic evil people are going out and not allowing people to learn to read, or not making requirements to read or do math. So we have this here. We have Governor Kate Brown, the Oregon Democrat, signed a bill last month with little fanfare that drops the requirement that high school students prove proficiency in reading, writing, or math before graduating, report said. The Oregonian reported that the governor has seemed to avoid discussing a Senate Bill 744. Her move to sign the bill was not public until recently because her office did not hold a signing ceremony or issue press release. The paper also pointed out that the bill was first signed on July 14th, but not added into the state's database until July 29th due to a glitch in the system. Brown's office did not immediately respond to an after-hours email from Fox News, etc., etc. So yeah, obviously these kids are not going to be able to read in Oregon or do math, and it's going to fail that. It's going to fail that state. It's going to have that state going into turmoil, all because of whatever stupid woke far left progressiveness. This is the downfall of what happens when you go vote Democrat and the evil tree that is done. We need to do better as a country and as a people to help sure we can prosper our kids into a better life, as we should all do as adults and as parents. And unfortunately right now, our leaders, and even the Democratic leaders, are failing our children. And we need to step up. We need to do better. That man right there, teaching them how to read, he's an inspiration to everybody involved, and I hope that man does better in life. And I think he will. He is doing the best that he can, because our government, our schools, our country failed him. And we need to do better. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, share, as always. Take care.